Welcome to the South African Bureau of Standards, a statutory body that was established in 1945 as the National Institution for the Promotion and Maintenance of Standardization and Quality in connection with products and services. The SABS's vision is to be the trusted standardization and quality assurance service provider of choice. The SABS is a diverse and complex environment that can be hazardous if the proper precautions are not adhered to. This video will cover necessary security measures, general on-site safety, emergency procedures, as well as medical and health-related issues. Please take careful note of all the information provided for your own health, safety, and security. As our esteemed guest to the SABS Corporate Center, you will be issued with a permit, as well as an identification sticker that must be worn visibly at all times whilst on the SABS premises. The permit must be signed by the host and handed to the security guard together with the identification sticker when leaving the building. No visitors will be allowed into the building unless they are accompanied by their host. For the purpose of crime prevention and safeguarding human life, property and information, all visitors will be subjected to security screening and searches. Under the Occupational Health and Safety Act, all visitors are obliged to take reasonable care for their own health and safety, as well as that of other persons who may be affected by the act and/or omissions. This includes: familiarize yourself with the contents on the visitor's permit. Obey the stipulated health and safety rules and procedures as prescribed by the SABS. Should you notice any unsafe acts, conditions, or incidents, please alert your host before the end of your visit. Intoxicating liquor and unprescribed drugs are not allowed on the premises, and no persons under the influence of liquor or unprescribed drugs are permitted to enter the SABS premises. Smoking is only allowed in designated areas. No firearms, dangerous objects, or explosives are allowed on site. Intentionally obstructing the view of CCTV cameras is prohibited and is regarded as a security breach. The taking of photographs and video recordings of the SABS premises is perceived as a security threat and must be reported to the responsible manager in charge of the department. Furthermore, as our valued visitor, you will also be required to declare all personal assets, submit proof of positive identification, and be subjected to an electronic or physical search. Stay with your host at all times. Always use handrails when using stairs. Look out for wet floor signs to avoid tripping and falling. If stuck in the elevator, do not attempt to force open doors. Sound the emergency bell and wait for an assistant. Follow all road signs. Stay within the road markings. Obey the speed limit. Familiarize yourself with the location of alarm points and fire equipment locations. Make sure you are self-acquainted with the emergency evacuation procedures situated in front of all elevators. Ensure that you do not come into physical contact with any of the chemicals or gases that may be in the area that you are visiting. Always stay with your host at SABS. All incidents and near-miss incidents must be reported to SABS via your host before the end of your visit. Do not enter the laboratory area without the mandatory personal protective clothing. Do not tamper with any equipment on site. Smoking is allowed only in designated areas. Only trained, competent people of SABS are allowed to handle chemicals. No horseplay or fooling around. Obey all health, safety, and environmental signage. Dispose of wastes in designated waste bins that are provided. Report any medical conditions that our processes may aggravate: dust, noise, radiation, high voltage, high temperatures and heights. Ensure that the visitor's book at the SABS pavilion is always completed with a date, name, and signature. In the event of an emergency, the following action must be taken immediately. Firstly, do not panic. When an emergency is detected, raise the alarm and vacate the area immediately. Walk briskly, do not run. If conditions are safe, ladies may remove high-heeled shoes. The first aider is to take the first aid kit in case of injuries. Do not use the lifts, use the stairs only. Ensure that no person is left behind in your department. Contact the emergency services. All persons are to assemble at the designated emergency assembly points outside the building. The emergency evacuation officer will take a roll call of all employees, contractors, and visitors. Do not re-enter the building until the all clear signal has been given. If you are a visitor working on site, it is important to note the following. You will need to fill in a Section 37(2) form and non-disclosure agreement should you wish to work on site. You will not be permitted to do any work until this form has been filled and handed in. You must comply with the safe work practice procedures on site. Many of the tools and machinery used at the SABS can be hazardous if used improperly or without the necessary training and PPE. Some general rules concerning the use of tools and machinery are: never attempt to do a job yourself that requires more than one person. Only work with tools or machinery if you are fully trained to do so. Always wear the correct PPE. Before starting, always inspect your work area. Make sure there are no obstructions in or around the machinery as well as the exit routes. Ensure that the work area is well ventilated. Confirm that the machine is off before plugging it in to avoid injuries with auto start machines. Never leave a machine unattended once it has been plugged in. Once you have finished using the machines and tools, make sure everything is stored away neatly. Check that the machine is off and plugged before leaving the work area. Thank you for visiting the South African Bureau of Standards. Your safety is our concern.